Hello guys, in my last video I showed you how to make these hearts for Valentine's Day. And as I was finishing the video up, I had them placed like this on the table next to each other to take some pictures for thumbnails and stuff. And as I was looking at them, I kind of realized that these two placed like this looks like half of a 4-leaf clover. So all I had to do to turn these into a 4-leaf clover was to make the hearts in green, make 4 of them, and then stitch them together. And that's what I did. And this is kind of my first attempt. It kind of worked on the first try. And when would you need something like this? Well, today is the 17th of February. And on the 17th of March this year we have St. Patrick's Day. So this could be like a perfect decoration for a St. Patrick's Day party or something. I mean, you can use them as a beer coaster, or you could probably make a hat and stitch it to the hat. I mean, you can use it however you want. So today I'm going to show you how to make this. But I'm not going to repeat the process of making the hearts. These are the exact same pattern as this one. So go back to my last video where I made a heart and just follow that tutorial all the way until you bob up with green yarn until you have 4 of these. I will put a link to that video in the description below. So pause this video, go to that video and make 4. And when you have 4 hearts in green like this, you can come back to this one. So when you have the 4 hearts, the first thing we have to do is to attach the loose ends. And as I mentioned in that video, I don't really slip stitch the last stitch. I just leave the last stitch as is, and then I pull the yarn through, and then I thread the needle with the tail. And this one differs from the red heart, since I'm gonna use these tails to stitch it together along this seam. So we start like this. We're gonna close the gap. We take the yarn from the last stitch and we go through the first stitch and kind of pull it tight, and then we make a few passes and pull it tight, or not super tight, but pull it closed. Something like that. And when we got that closed, we are gonna go back and forth along the edge here, all the way down here to the next to last stitch. So we're not going to go through the corner stitch here. We're gonna go back through the next to last stitch here. And that's where we're gonna leave it. Like that. I'm gonna pull the needle away, and then we have to pull it closed in the center. And we thread the needle, and we're just gonna pull it closed. We did that. And then we're just gonna make some knots here on the back, just to keep this secured. And I try to make these knots as small as possible, since the backside is going to be showing on this project, since we're not going to make like a backside for this. That seems secure enough. Then we're just going to work this in somewhere on the back. I mean, it's secured by the knot. We just want to keep the tail out of the way. Something like that, and then we get the scissors. And we cut the yarn close to our work, and then we pull it in. And now we repeat that process with all 4 of the hearts. So we should have a tail coming out from the next to last stitch on all 4 hearts. Then, when we stitch them together, we're just going to take out 1 pair at a time. We're going to place them with the outside or the front facing each other like this. Then I'm going to take, you can see this thread is on the right and this one is on the top, so this one is the one we want. We're going to thread the needle with that tail. And then we are not going to touch the corner stitch, and we're just going to go through one of the two loops on the stitches here, and we're going to go through the back loop on both. Since we kind of want this crease here, since that will kind of make the hearts more pronounced, and you will kind of see the lines here, the cross in the middle, and that's what we want. And we're also going to leave the center here kind of like empty, so it forms a small cross down here. Because I just think it looks best like this. I'm sure you could force this closed, but I'm just going to leave it like this since I think it looks good. So if you want that look, you just go through, like I said, we start here. Let's see, that's the corner stitch. That means this one is the first. Look here. We're just going to go through the loops facing back here. And then we go through loops on that side, and we pull this closed. Take the next stitch, do the same thing. We only go through the back loops, and we pull it closed, and we work our way alongside the edge here, going through each pair of the stitches. And in a second I'm going to show you how many we're going to make and where to stop. I'm just going to work it all the way up here. And we're going to go all the way up to this stitch, the next one here. That is the first double crochet. Since these stitches here are all single crochet, and the first pair of double crochet, that's the last stitch we're going to go through. And that is this one. And on this stitch we're going to make a second pass to keep this secure. When we're done that, we're just going to work the tail in here on the back side of the stitches we just made. We go through a few, and then I kind of backtrack one stitch to kind of like a loop around one of the stitches, and that will kind of help keep it secured. And then I work it in for a few more stitches. Pull it a bit, and then we can cut this. Close to our work here, like that, and we pull the tail in. So there you go. Now we can see 2 of the 4, and once you've done that, you just add the next one to the mix. Same thing here. Place it alongside, facing each other. And then we can see we have this one on the right and this one up here. We take this one. And we thread the needle with that one. Same thing here. We don't touch the corner stitch, but we start at the first stitch after the corner. And we go through the back loops only here. So we start there, go through each pair and do the same thing. And once again, our last stitch here is going to be the first double crochet. There we go. So that's 3 out of 4. Now you just need to take the fourth one out and do the same thing with that. But first we're gonna hide this one. We do that the same way by working it in down the seam here and doubling back on like 1 or 2 places to keep the thread secured. Once it's in here, we take out the scissors and we cut it pretty much flush against our work, and then we pull it in. And then you can just take out the last heart and do the same thing with that one, and you should be left with something like this. So there you have it. It's our 4-leaf clover. I know this was just a quick video, but I thought maybe this would be useful to someone. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great St. Patrick's Day. Cheers!